Okay, trying this again. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. Let me get a comment in the chat. Okay. Om lokaha samastaha suki no bhavantu. May all beings be happy and peaceful. Om lokaha samastaha suki no bhavantu. May all beings be happy and peaceful. Yeah, the Matrix tried to get me there for a second. Some deep breaths. You know, it's been one of those weeks. I've been really profitable trading this week, which is nice. Yesterday I was out surfing and oh my God, it was big and I was probably bigger than I should have, probably shouldn't have been out. It was sort of like pro surfer level and I'm not there. And I slammed my side on a wave. I got on the wave, but then just flew off my board. I was going down too fast and I just flew off my board. I was moving so fast, I hit the water and it tore a bunch of muscles in my side. And it was, man, it was painful. I mean, if I feel it, you know, I'm gonna have to take some time off now because I feel like a whole bunch of muscle. At least it wasn't bone, so that's good. But a whole bunch of muscles tore in my side body and my lats and my yeah. So um, interesting that the timing with this, the live difficulty. Actually, it's good that I got it sorted because what I noticed was that I didn't have my mic, my preamp on before right as I started the stream, and then for whatever reason, every time after that I tried to restart it, it wouldn't let me. It wouldn't get the sound through. So just good to get that figured out. Anyways, we're gonna get into the charts here. And for those of you that have joined my community, the C3 community, by signing up with MEXC and depositing, if you could make a trade, any amount trade, a small trade, that actually helps me because they put me into a higher tier as for fees, so I get a higher percentage of fees overall that way. And I'm just going to put that out there. Also, if you like this video, it helps to spread the word about it. What I noticed is that when I started doing lives, my view time or the overall number of views was chopped in half immediately. So not only does YouTube not feature my videos to outside viewers, outside my subscribers at present, they've severely restricted me as it is. And now as with lives, it seems to be even more the case, but I don't really care. I just want it to get out to the right people. So, um, awesome. Cool. Hey, Robert. Good to see you in here. Um, yeah, so we're going to get into the charts now. I'm going to share some of my yeah, I know it sucks. You know, YouTube kind of, I don't want to say it sucks because it's my main platform, but there's certain things about it that I'm still figuring out. This is my first, it's been about a year, actually. It's been a little over a year since I started this channel. And so I get to celebrate that. And so I'm learning the ins and outs of YouTube. And it's been challenging at times, but now that I know how to do the live streams and connect it with my software, this will be really good headed into the next bull run. So especially when we have big moves. This morning I debated going live. I probably should have gone live around 8:30, 9 a.m. when there was all that activity, but I was actually really busy trading because you have to be, you know, it's like big wave surfing, right? You've got to be like really sharp about it and get in at the right time and have your confirmation and all of that. So I was mainly looking at the delta coming in, which I'll get into that in a moment. But what I noticed initially was this, and it's still going. And actually, crypto is lagging behind a little bit on this. This is the S&P 500 futures. And I was waiting to see, I saw it sort of stumbling around down here, and it looked like, notice these candles here, there's a bullish impulse here. And then from there, it got back in the range with force. And now it just pushed straight up through. And so stocks are actually outperforming crypto right now overall. I mean, but crypto did see a pump yesterday. So, and of course, Ethereum's up over 6% today. So we just cleared this level here for the S&P. This level here, this 4,100, this is the mid-range between the 2022 open and the 2022 low. Okay, so somewhat significant, but more significant is this monthly level at 4170, 4175. I think it's going to push up to there, to be honest with you. I think it might push beyond there. It might push even up above this quarterly level, really get a lot of people back on board, maybe bring it up for the end of the year, and then potentially crush it back down again. Is the bottom in? I have no idea. I mean, maybe if it can clear this level and hold above for some time, but I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves here. What that means for cryptocurrency is that we are going to see a pump in the short term. At least I believe that, because it's going to likely follow alongside that. And Dixie actually did dump in just the last hour, a couple of hours here. You can see this drop down here, back down to 105.80 something. And if we just look at this and see, okay, at first it appeared to be finding support, but actually it could be wanting to put in another local low here. It could be wanting to come down even lower to maybe 100 range, 102. We'll see, but this definitely has been coming down and not showing any signs of letting up here. So in the meantime, we're Wednesday. I think there's a lot of room for Ethereum and Bitcoin to run here. And especially I've been eyeing these levels here, this inefficiency, which shows up more clearly on a 4H chart. But you can see here, this whole level, normally what happens when there's an inefficiency, and what I mean by that is that the price just moves, it's unidirectional, it just moves one direction. And there's not really any, there's not any static in there. Usually when you have a move, there's some wicks that kind of cover it in the opposite direction. When you don't see that, it's a fair value gap, and that is oftentimes filled during a move up such as this one. But the first time it came up to the supply zone and then just barely breached into it and then was rejected down. This is actually quite normal for an FFG. And so I think that the second time that it pushes up, it may just push through 1400 and beyond here. So that's why I have my second take profit level up at around 1400. I'm actually going to share this trade with you all because why not? This is the trade. My stops are actually close to break even here. This was actually my average entry, and first take profit 1323. This is the middle of this supply zone. I like to set my take profits in the middle of the zone as opposed to up high, because I don't know how deep it's going to penetrate into that zone, but I am anticipating that it will. Initially, I had a take profit around 1300, but then I saw the momentum that it was moving up at that level. Actually, it was around 1290, which is this weekly level. I saw the momentum moving into it, and I figured, hell, let's just remove it and put it up higher, see how far this is going to run, especially with this 2.5% move in the S&P in a matter of maybe an hour. So, it really reversed there really quickly. And so sometimes we see that lag with cryptocurrency. It lags behind and then it blasts off from there. So this is my ETH trade right here, plain as day, and it wasn't that long ago, and it's not that much higher up right now. It may come back down to retest. I have my doubts, and I'm going to tell you why. I think that it has to do with this here. So let me see. I think it has to do with this here. So this is exo charts, and I'm looking at the delta, and if you look down here, we had 65 million delta come in here and this big strong push, and then another 39 million, 25 million. Notice the delta, 20 million, and the negatives, it's not very much. Okay, so these are long positions that are opening up, and so that's giving confluence to the breakout, which if you look at this Ethereum, I was on the 5-minute chart when I made my entry here, and notice the breakout here, breakout retest. So this is when I started to enter. Okay, so there is logic behind my trades, even though it might seem pretty arbitrary to some. Now we're looking at Bitcoin, and I'm wondering if there's anybody actually still watching this. I'm gonna turn my let's see. Anybody still here watching this? Because if not, I'm just wasting my breath. Maybe some of you will watch it later. Um, Ethereum, okay, Bitcoin. Okay, yes, you are, Peter. Okay, cool. Right on. So Bitcoin, we cleared again on the 5-minute chart. You know, if you wanted to make an aggressive entry here, this is just going through some of the reasoning why I entered in this trade. I, you know, these are shaky at best, but in this sort of situation, expecting volatility around 8:30 with whatever Jay Powell has to say. I don't even know what he said, to be honest, but it was interpreted in a positive way. I don't pay attention to the fundamentals. I pay attention to what's happening. I mean, I pay some attention to that, but I pay mostly attention to what's happening in the charts. So we had the breakout, the retest, and an additional upward momentum. And again, with Bitcoin, if I look at Bitcoin on exo charts and we take a look, I've been using this just for confirmation of some big moves recently with the Delta specifically, and I find it's really helpful. I am planning to create templates so that you can copy and create them for yourself, for those of you that are interested in this in the future. But this, you can see here, 73 million long stepped in here in this initial move. This was around 8:30. I believe. And then 15 million, 30 million, 47 million. Okay, so not, and then there was, you know, just one negative 42, but the positive delta, it's moving up. And you can see the CBD, the cumulative delta is moving up. So we're at 400 million. So that means that the positioning, the main positioning is long here, which makes sense when you have a big, strong move up. But notice here, it's starting to form these yellow areas. These are point of controls within that candle. So that's where most of the buy and sell orders are coming in here. And so it's sort of forming a little bit of a wall here, you can see. So it looks to be, this move looks to be supported, and it's supported by higher volume too. You can see there's a 347 million, 700 million. So I'm looking relative to the volumes preceding that. So the candle preceding that was only 50 million. 700 million came in. That's more than 10x that, 12x. And then a 73 million delta. Okay, so that was the initial sort of impulse that led me to position myself, or to have a long bias. And then moving on to the charts and seeing that confirmed in the movement of the price. Okay, so I'm looking at price. Price is obviously king. Context is the emperor. Context is most important. Context is, we've been in this uptrend for some time now. This looks like a bull flag on the lower time frames. Okay, just ignore this, right? Deviation from here, broke out, retested, broke above with strength. There's your long entry right there. Okay, and then notice what happened. It came up near last week's high, and now it's coming down. It's sort of consolidating here before deciding what's next, but it's not really wanting to break down here. So it still could either go either way. Of course, it could go either way. But again, you see the obvious bull flag here on the 1H, and I think it has a lot more room to run. And so targets for Bitcoin, let's take a look and see what I've got here for this trade. I don't know where I put my targets for that. I have to look at it. Hold on a second. I'm going to take a look on my trading software here. Okay, so 18,274, 17,493. Okay, so this is obviously initial potential resistance here. This is a resistance level here. Obviously 17.5 is going to have there's probably going to be a pause there. And so I have sort of half of the TP is there. And then the second half is in this supply zone here, 18,277. I'm more conservative on the lower end of that. But again, If it does break through, then we're looking at this whole gap in here. It could run up. It could run all the way up to 19K and potentially up higher than that. It just depends. But these targets, maybe a little bit more aggressive, more conservative. I could have been a little bit lower down, but this move is this is a substantial move, and these are showing signs of a full continuation. So in times when there's a lot of uncertainty, you can expect with the Fed meetings and announcements, you can expect that. This is why we look at FX Street calendar and we try and find the high priority events. And I pulled out yesterday of all the trades that I was in and just waited until 8:30 this morning. And you see the move here. You see that's where the action happens. Sometimes, you can get chopped up very easily because it could go very quickly in one direction and then crush back down again. But so far, it seems to be holding up, and we have confirmation looking at the delta. So let me take a look and see if there's any comments here. No, I don't think we're going to stay in 17K BTC. That's what I'm sharing here. I think it's probably going to head up higher. I think we're gonna have a strong move up higher. It might not happen in an hour or 5 minutes like it did yesterday, but I think it might be a slow, steady grind up, and that's why I have my second TP at 18,277. As far as Matic is concerned, and I will get into some of the other alts here, I haven't really looked at them since I've been primarily focused on Ethereum and Bitcoin. I like to do that when we have uncertainty, when we're not sure what's going to happen next, because alts are even more volatile, as we all know. Matic looking good. Okay, so here's where I entered. Matic is a little bit higher than I would have wanted, but it was moving pretty quickly. But see, there is a range here. This was a deviation back inside, came back up. This is actually a mid-level. This is a mid-range between these two monthly levels. So it is significant when it's between monthly or quarterly levels. So that's why, and you see the break above this trend here. So it broke. So we have confluence, break above this diagonal, break above this mid-level, came back down, did retest on the 1H. You see the retest here, okay? Not once, but twice, and then showed some strength. So I took a long position targeting up at around 94 cents. And this is, there's going to be some resistance up there. It's a daily level, I believe. So I try to color code these. Usually the green lines are the dailies. And then the bluish ones, the darker blues are the annual, and then I have a quarterly and a monthly, and I sort of get lighter as I go. I have a system. I do plan to teach that eventually, probably in one of the courses, if there's interest in that. Dogecoin, let's just have a look at Dogecoin and see. Yeah, I'm not interested in this. If it comes back down here and then maybe, yeah, I'm still not interested. I'm not interested in a long for Dogecoin. I'm interested to see if it can get up to this weekly level here, and anything in this shaded zone. This is a supply zone. And so looking for weakness up here with Dogecoin, or looking to see if it comes back down, revisits this level and starts to show weakness, then this would be a short down to the mid and then to the weekly here. Okay, but where it sits right now, I think that upside is limited for Dogecoin. I could be wrong because it's really been moving a lot lately, but that's just my take on it. I'm not willing to take the risk on that trade just yet. I'd rather short than long Doge. Solana, I'd also rather take a short than a long at this point, only because I feel like it had its chance to really break out and it just didn't. And then it broke below, and now it's retested once, twice, and almost 3 times now. Maybe it gets back inside. If it does, maybe that's a long, headed back up to the mid and then the top of the range here. But it is holding above this diagonal here. Okay, did find support here. So you never know. It could push up, but it hasn't been as strong as many of the other alts. Atom, on the other hand, actually looks prime for another another pump here, because you see the breakout of this channel, retest, and then it's still showing strength. So Adam actually will likely push higher, but I don't think that I'll enter a long position here. If I were to enter a long position, this is what I'd be looking at. So here, stop maybe around 3.33. You could do a 3x with a 10% trade size if you're using my spreadsheet. And then looking to target somewhere. Probably first targets would be 1104. Second target would be around 1166 for Adam. But I do think it's gonna head up higher from here. BNB, I'm not really wanting to trade this in these levels. This is starting to look like a head and shoulders. And we're still below the weekly open for BNB, which has not been the case for pretty much every other altcoin out there, including Bitcoin, Ethereum. So I think if BNB can push back up to here, I'd probably be looking for shorts at the first sign of weakness. But it might just chop around in this area for a while. So not really trade worthy in my opinion. If it breaks down from here, then I'd definitely be looking to short it down to this zone and then this zone here. Okay, so you have 273 and 263-ish. Yeah, I'm not really into a lot of the mid to low cap altcoins. Link, I can look at Link, but I don't want to look at Arbitrum, Algo. Aleph, is that one on exchanges yet? I'm curious because I am interested in that as a longer term play. Yeah, it's on certain exchanges. But I'm not going to be, I definitely wouldn't be trading this. Yeah, there's no reason to trade this just yet. I would be looking to potentially accumulate this, but not right now. Okay. Matic, I did cover Matic. I just shared my Matic trade. So if you're coming on late, maybe look back a little bit and take a look. So Link, back to Link. Link has been slow and steady grinding up here, and I don't really want to long this because again, I already have enough exposure. I try to limit my exposure to like 2.5%. But if we just take a look at this, where is it at in this range? It's sort of in the middle of this choppy range here. I was interested in Link down here. I did take some longs down here and maybe over here, but where it's at right now, I'd want to see how it interacts up here at 817. I'm not really interested in this. No, it's not time. So one of the things that I like to do is I like to prioritize the coins that I want to trade, and I'll actually move them to the top. So you can see I have Bitcoin, ETH, Matic, Doge, and Solana right now. Solana probably shouldn't be there. Atom is a little bit higher than Solana. So I sort of rank them by what it stands out the most to me. And it's best for me. I just find it's better if I can concentrate my trades in a few majors, like 3. I feel really good with 3 trades if I can size it accordingly. If I start getting into 4, 5, 6 trades, then I feel a little bit more uncomfortable, and it's just more levels because I'm always setting my stop losses and take profits right after I place the trade. So it's like typically I'll have 2 take profits minimum per trade. Sometimes just 1, but mostly it's 2 on average. And so if I have, say, 6 positions, that's 12 take profits that I have to set and 12 stop losses, because each time you set a take profit, you have to set a stop loss. Okay, so that's just giving you a little bit of my trading strategy. No, Bitcoin is not bottomed. I don't think so. Copy trading. Yeah, people copy trade me on MEXC. But I don't know what it's available to C3 members. So people that join my group and deposit on MEXC can copy trade me. And so far it's been profitable. I think it's up about 10% in 3 weeks on that account that I've been trading, even though the numbers are a little bit different on the platform itself. But from my calculations, from what I deposited, um, I don't know. The verdict is out about copy trading. I don't know how people in the group seem to like it so far, but it's just there's certain features about it that I would like to be expanded or developed more. Like for instance, if I'm going to risk 0.5% in a trade of my total account, it should be able to replicate that for whoever is depositing funds. So if they deposit a lot more, but they want to risk the same amount as me, instead of just having a fixed amount per trade, they should be able to set my risk is the same risk as what their account is using for that trade. So that way it's more fair. It can work out in your favor, of course, if you just have a set trade size to copy my trades or someone else's trades. But it's, in some cases it can work out really, really well for you. In some cases it might not work out well. I think over time it probably balances out. But I've never copy traded anyone else because this is my gig. So, I do see, but it's helpful for me, of course, when people copy trade me. It helps them because they don't have to, try to catch all my trades and try to follow them exactly as I do them. Uh, but it's helpful for me because I get a 15% cut from the profits from that. So, but I haven't really promoted that. So I'm just sharing that here with those of you that are paying attention right now. Yeah, FTX disagrees. Oh, yeah, no comment. No comment. You know, yeah, I'm not even going to talk about it because there's already enough people talking about it. I don't need to. So, yeah, so I don't think that Bitcoin has bottomed. Awesome. Yeah, part of me wishes I was in Europe right now. See, I'm in the US, but it doesn't really feel like the US because I'm on Hawaii, so we're a little bit isolated from a lot of what's going on in the US, but we still have some of the draconian laws that we've had to deal with, especially when it comes to cryptocurrency. So it was like a godsend for me to be able to use MEXC because literally KuCoin I could use, but they were limiting me extremely. Pretty much every other exchange is like not allowed in Hawaii. It's like worse than New York. So Hawaii is awesome as far as just nature and surfing, and people are great. Aloha, good vibes. If you're living in Pono, if you're living in Balance, it's great. But as far as like some of the, like for instance, the kids here had masks until uh way longer than everyone else in the country. The kids in school had to wear masks. Everyone else, no one else had to wear masks, but everyone in school, my kids were wearing masks till the end of last year, which makes zero sense. So certain things are like they're very protective, like you can't really grow, you can't bring in a lot of things to the island, which makes sense. So it's sort of like shielded in a lot of ways, and they also are shielded with cryptocurrency. So I'm hoping that that changes, but I'm not holding my breath on that one. So I don't know how that came up exactly, but um, let's get back to Bitcoin. This whole bottom argument. I know I'm going to be hearing this question, I'm sure, repeatedly because every single time Bitcoin pumps like 5%, people are like, "Yep, the bottom's in." All right, so here's why I don't think the bottom is in. Let me hide this. No, that's not helping. Okay. Let me clean this up a little bit. I want to keep my oh, yeah, just disappear for me. Oh, I see. There's two trades. Okay. So, where are we in the grand scheme of things? I mean, what just happened with Bitcoin? We basically initiated the next leg down. And now this looks to be the potential retest of the previous range low here that we were ranging around for 3 months. So just from a weekly perspective, we haven't yet retested 18,200. It needs to retest this and then break through with conviction. And then we're back in this sort of accumulation range. And then you could call this a potential deviation. This whole area in here is a potential deviation from this range, okay? But what's really concerning about this is that we've spent, you know, this is 1, 2, 3, this is the 4th week now below this 18K range. And so if we're just looking at, if let's get rid of these now, we don't really need these. So we're beneath the previous all-time high. We've been beneath it for some time. And then we actually broke down to this level here, the 16,200, with some strength. And now, again, there's not a whole lot of to support. There's not a whole lot of strength down to the 12K level. 13.7 would be the next sort of level of support here. But there's not a whole lot supporting. Okay, so I think it's too soon to say for sure, but I'm more aligned with 12K or potentially lower Bitcoin in the months to come. It might not happen right away. We might get a big run up here. It may run all the way up. Who knows? Maybe it comes all the way back up to 25K or somewhere in this range here, and then it breaks down, okay? Because usually if we get a deviation and it breaks back inside a range, it's going to run up at least to the mid-level, most likely all the way back up. So that would be 25K for Bitcoin. That would be the ultimate fake out right there, right? So it comes back up, breaks back down again. Once it gets back inside, then it's looking like it could make its next leg down. But first things first, it needs to come back up, and it needs to, at the very minimum, it needs to come up to 18K, this lower range boundary here, and actually be able to break through that. Until then, I'm going to say absolutely not. I don't think the bottom's in yet. I would give it at least another month or two to see what's happening here. Maybe we get a nice push in the next month leading into the holidays, and then dump it into the new year. Who knows? Yeah, it's sort of, yeah, it sucks about the exchanges, but no, Hawaii's, I mean, I'm really blessed to live here. And I, you know, there's, everywhere you live has its ups and downs. A lot of people think it's just like heaven on earth, which I think anywhere can be heaven on earth. But in certain ways, like sometimes I crave diversity, like of different ethnicities. And we have like mostly Caucasian people here. And I just like to get different perspectives. And I like to, you know, be around more people sometimes. We have a very small community. It's a very small island. So, you know, getting off, going onto different islands is helpful. But island fever is very real. And especially after like several years, it just starts to wear on you after a while. But the beauty is just unmatched here. So I think these trades appear to be holding up so far. It looks like we are pushing above this weekly level. And again, I think the next area of interest is going to be this supply zone in between about 1312 and 1335. I think there's going to be some congestion in here before it makes its next decisive move. But I would not be surprised to see Ethereum really push up here to 1400 and maybe beyond that in the coming days. Okay, so I hope that's helpful for you. I am actually putting my money where my mouth is. I've been trading this. I've been long Ethereum. Of course, I've been in and out a few times, but I've caught the meat of this move from 1177 so far. And as far as Bitcoin, I was long around 16,166 and then got out for a little bit, back in now. So I take profits along the way. I wait for confirmation of a continuation, and then I'll get back in. So I'm trading the levels here. And right now we're testing last week's high at around 17,145 for Bitcoin. But if it breaks through that, then the next real level is a weekly level, and we're looking at 18,215. Okay, potentially taking profits along the way. That's why I have a TP level somewhere in the mid here. Okay, so any other questions? You know, the strange thing about live streams is I'm not really sure when to end it. It's like normally I would just, okay, I would probably just end the video now. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Peter. Yes, it feels good. It feels good, and I really appreciate the community that's building around this channel, and all those of you that are showing up right now. Thank you so much. Please do like the video. I don't normally. I'm starting to ask for it. Learning to ask for support, right? It helps the channel. It helps me. We're helping each other, right? So I hope that some of you have been able to profit off of some of these trades that I've been making, and you know, that actually brings me the most joy when people take the courses and they learn something and they apply it and they make money from it. That's great. That's fantastic. That makes me so happy. Or if you read the book and you glean some insights from it that helps you. And a lot of the times what I notice is that maybe it doesn't happen right away, but then you notice, you know, I've been reading the book Atomic Habits. It's a great book, by the way, highly recommended. And it's, you know, it's every 1% increase or change that you make, it adds up. And that's how trading is. It's just adding as much knowledge as you can on a daily basis. And then in a year's time, you're a master. Maybe not a master. You don't ever want to be a master, but you're an expert. And then you just continue to add, and you continue to, you know, to take profits along the way. Sometimes you still take losses. Sometimes you're still wrong, but at least, you know, you're clearly defining your risk, and you have a set strategy that really works for you. And that's the beauty of it. So again, I hope that you come to Canada. Yeah, you know, I actually grew up on the East Coast. So I grew up near Boston. So I know snow. I don't really miss it all that much. Awesome. Yeah, so happy to hear that. I don't miss the snow that much. I I think it would be nice. I have two little boys, and they always appreciate that sort of thing. We actually do get snow here sometimes up on Haleakala when it's super cold. And so for what it's worth, it's just, you know, it's not all that common. Yeah, it's nice to be in the warmth. I think that humans in general we're made for warmth. We're made to be more like equatorial. We're an equatorial species. Of course, we've managed to survive in, you know, frigid temperatures. And so, I mean, we're very adaptable, but for me personally, with my constitution, I just feel more comfortable in the tropics. And it took me many years to fully admit that to myself. So maybe I should keep talking. The price is going up right now, so these trades are moving into more profit. Matic is actually doing really well right now. Yeah, it's headed straight up for my TP level. Matic has been strong. I think that Matic, I will definitely be accumulating some Matic when the time comes. But, this is not where I would be accumulating. I want to see if it breaks back down, because if it breaks back down below here, then we're headed to maybe 60 cents. We're headed down from there, maybe all the way back down. It hasn't revisited the 2022 low yet. I think it may do that. And that, of course, that's going to be dependent on Bitcoin. But Matic has been super strong. And with the alliances that they formed, I definitely, this is one to watch. Definitely one to watch for me. Solana, on the other hand, not so sure what this is going to do in the coming months. It looks like it could drop a lot further. Who knows? We'll see. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes, you know, I notice that sometimes when I talk to certain people, my trades will go up as I talk to them. And so that's definitely a real thing that has an effect on trading. Certain people, it's just auspicious. Yeah, Matic's going for it. I don't mind exiting at 94 cents. I'll take my profits there. Sometimes also I'll put more conservative take profit levels, which I mean, this is still, ooh, that side pain really is kicking in right now. I need some Advil. I need to stop surfing such big waves. I think I'm gonna have to take a break here. It's still a 2R. So it's a 2R trade. It's hard to believe. I mean, 5% if it can make it up there in like the next couple of hours. That'd be nice for Matic. Yeah, taking profits is an art and it's a discipline. It's a discipline more than anything because like right now, I should probably take some profits. But the context here, I just feel like Ethereum and Bitcoin are going to run a lot higher. And if that happens, Matic's going to blast through this level here. So I'm willing to sit this out and be a little bit more patient here. But generally speaking, I would probably have a take profit level somewhere in the middle here. I think it's good to have multiple TP levels. And that's a good discipline to have. So on MEXC, when you set your stop losses, set them at 50%. If it's 2 levels, set them at 33%. If it's 3 levels, your stop loss will be exactly the same in every case, but then the TP will vary. And then that way, you know, you might have one that's just much higher than all the others, just in case it just runs up that high. And then you have 2 that are sort of at reasonable levels. And we're looking at resistance zones, and we're looking at, you know, daily ranges. You know, like some might have a take profit up at 90.956. There's a resistance level here. Okay, you can see a lot of price congestion here. You might come up even to 90.9725. It depends on, you know, whether you're scalping or you're swing trading. This has turned into more of a swing trade scenario here, with all the bullishness in the market. So, you know, still, okay, still seeing like multiple, you know, tens of millions of positive delta coming in here for Bitcoin. And so I think that if that's any indication of where we're maybe headed here, I think we've got a lot more room to run. So I'm going to leave it at that. XRP. I don't want to talk about XRP today. I haven't looked at XRP. What is XRP? Was that a short? That was a long. Shoot, I exited that early. Well, I had a trade in XRP. Actually, one thing that I did with XRP is I made a 20x trade when I meant to do a 2x, and it actually moved in my favor, but I had to get out. I had to cut like 90% of that position fast. I ended up actually having a decent profit because it was a small move, but I had a good return on it, but I exited it early. I wouldn't long XRP here personally. Not financial advice, but I don't generally like to trade this. It just depends. It depends. Sometimes I will, but I think as far as my overall view of XRP, I mean, just look at it. This is on Binance, but would you want to invest in this? I don't know. I mean, if you're in the XRP army and you're, you know, kind of brainwashed, then maybe, but this is not a healthy chart. I don't care who's involved with it. I don't care what institutions are involved. I don't care, you know, what government official works for that. It doesn't matter to me. This is crap. This is total crap. It's total manipulation one way or another. And so this is not a long-term play for me. You know, this is not a long-term play. It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. It's going to continue to do this for the rest of its life. You know, it's like once these habits it's like just like humans, right? Once we start seeing these sorts of habits play out, if it's doing this now, what do you think it's going to do 2 years from now? Probably the same thing. Might have some really big moves up along the way and then get crushed back down again and just be chop, chop, chop all along. But this is just one big giant range here. Not worth it to me. You got to pick your battles. you know? So that's why I kind of roll my eyes when people ask me about XRP, because there's so many better options out there. Like even Matic. I mean, look at Matic compared to XRP. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that this has a higher risk reward here. This has a higher potential for exponential gains in the future. So, okay, so I hope you all enjoyed this video. I'm in a little bit of pain right now, so I'm gonna take some Advil and maybe get some food in me. I haven't really eaten today. So, yeah, even AVAX is a good one. So, but it's been fun. It's fun engaging with you all here in this format. It feels good. It feels better than just making the videos and publishing them. So I'm going to continue this for this foreseeable future and try to do it at least 3 times a week. So I hope you all enjoyed this, got some value out of it. Have a beautiful rest of your day.